Hello everyone and welcome to Snap Take. This is Glazer of Snap Judgments, and today we've got 4 great decks for you. But what we're going to kick this video off with is we're going to talk Elixir. Elixir is the main subject of this video, and for those of you who are always like, why do you always do the thumbnail deck second? We've got it first for you. We've also got a second Elixir deck, an amazing Victoria hand deck, and then a sleeper deck from our friend Tucker on today's video. But I think I might have a slightly different take on Elixir than a lot of people who are saying it's one of the worst cards ever. It's absolutely terrible. I don't think that's the case. We're going to break it down. We're actually going to go over the card very specifically in what I found were the 2 best decks. If you'd like to see the gameplay for all of these wins with these decks, with this first deck that you're looking at right now, I went 9-1, plus like 13 cubes. So if you'd like to see gameplay, please check the VOD right here on this YouTube or over on Twitch at twitch.tv/PulseGlazer of yesterday's games, where I streamed for like 3 hours on stream to be able to give you the best Elixir opinion possible in the amount of time provided. So this list There we go. This list was created by BitTwiddle. BitTwiddle is not only a friend, he is the person who does all the amazing thumbnails and graphics for the channel. So if you have a need for any thumbnails or graphics, please do hit me up. I'll put you in touch with BitTwiddle. He's also quite the deck builder. I hit infinite with his deck in the Agamotto season, and he has once more cooked, figuring out how to create an ongoing list that actually really works into the current meta, despite the Thanos. This deck does need Surge, Cassandra Nova, Sage, and Luna. Surge and Luna are fundamentally your ramp cards. There's no other ramp cards that are nearly as good. You can try Fastos, but it's so much worse and less consistent. Cassandra Nova and Sage are your big early power spikes. Sage giving you an extra option at the end of the game is one of the ways you win when you're going to get Shanged in one location. And Cassandra Nova gives you play into your one bad matchup, Thanos. Firehair and Elixir can beat Ravona and Echo here. In fact, one of the two should almost certainly be Ravona. Ravona should definitely be in this deck. And Grandmaster can be Ghost Spider because one of the things Grandmaster does is helps move a card when you need it. Ghost Spider can do the same thing at a slightly less efficient rate. So Surge and Luna Snow, you really want to get, like, if you can get Wong out on 3, White Tiger/Panther on 4, Zola/Odin on 5, things get significantly better for this deck, and Surge and Luna are your manner of doing so. Fundamentally, what happens is if you can go like Zola Panther in 4 or 5, your opponent's reasonably often going to end up shonking you right away, or you're going to get like hit with a Zola or whatever other nonsense, right? That leaves Elixir as a very powerful turn 6 play. Elixir played with Sage means that even if they stop one of your locations, you should have enough power in the other, because of like sometimes you can even like go Wong Sage on the last turn. You should have enough power in the other locations to still be able to win, and that's how you win big cubes with this. So Surge and Luna are absolutely needed. Elixir is and has been in most of my games a late game tech piece. Yes, you can use it with Zola. Using it with Zola, especially when you can ramp into Zola on turn 5, is an extremely useful thing. That's why I think this list might really want Ravona, because Ravona would work for Cassandra, Sage, Zola, and White Tiger, and that's just like enough. And because Zola is so important on 5, I think that might end up making it enough worth it. But I don't think that actually cuts Elixir. I think that might end up cutting Firehair. It could be either, but I'm a little more on the side of it being Firehair. Elixir just offers you, like, if you Zola, right? Like, let's say you Zola a Panther or Zola a White Tiger. On the last turn, if you can do that on turn 5, you can now Elixir and get like an extra like 20, 40 power Black Panther. Now you've got like 40 to 80 power in multiple lanes, and you're just so ridiculously ahead. You do have to be careful with Elixir that Luna Snow's Iceberg will destroy at the beginning of a turn, so you have to be very careful about when you do that. Fire Hair is here very, very specifically for White Tiger. If you destroy White Tiger, getting extra White Tiger triggers is important. White Tiger works way better with Wong and Odin than Zola. Fire Hair means it also works with Zola. Grandmaster is important in repositioning. Sometimes you'll have like a Black Panther in a lane where another on reveal will happen or something like that. You can Grandmaster to get one out of the way, giving you a better shot at your Zola, or just giving you another very, very powerful lane. It's also really solid to avoid Shang-Chi. Cassandra Nova is often a 3/9, 3/10, 3/11 against Thanos, and being able to go Cassandra Nova into Grandmaster 3 into 4, if you don't see anything particularly better against Thanos, does give you enough play to often compete in those matches. If they drop their Cosmo early, you should be able to still get enough of your combos off to win the game. Thanos puts like 28 to 30 power in most lanes. If you can get a Wong Tiger Odin going, then you should have a lot of success with that, especially if you got a Cassandra first, and that Cassandra is now stupidly huge in that White Tiger Odin lane. Sage, meanwhile, works at the end of the game, especially late games If you've got a either 7 energy from Luna or a slightly cheaper card from Surge, Sage and Wong on the last turn is just this giant power spike out of nowhere that opponents will have a hard time dealing with, right? So again, if you can get enough Tigers everywhere, enough Panthers around, you can then drop a Wong Sage on opponents' heads and win the damn game. Wong is here for White Tiger and Panther. You get 80 power Panthers with Wong. White Tiger putting like 32 power in multiple lanes with Wong into Odin is incredibly strong, which obviously explains Wong Tiger. Zola is probably the second most important card in the deck after Panther. You can win a reasonable number of games of Marvel Snap just by going Panther Zola and having a nice day. So doing that kind of thing is great. And then Odin is again solid. If you can play Odin on Zola, it's going that Zola is going to hit the Odin, who's then going to pop into the other two locations and re-trigger everything there, which is pretty freaking cool. But it's largely here for the White Tiger thing, but also pretty good if you drop a Wong, particularly on a Sage, or like if you go Sage early, right, into Wong, into White Tiger, into Odin, you've now got a stupidly huge Sage Odin lane and a bunch of Tigers all over the damn board, and this is just winning positions. So with this list, I went 9-1. That plus 13 cubes. I actually lost the first game into a Thanos. The Thanos had snapped me and early in the game, and they didn't have much draw, right? So I stuck around in this early Thanos game because since they didn't have draw, I figured it was reasonably unlikely. They had a lot of powerful stuff. They played like a Wiccan curve and everything else, but without draw, it's reasonably unlikely they have the Cosmo that beats me. They had the Cosmo that beat me. I then rattled off 9 wins in a row plus 13 cubes. Bit himself played this list and went 6-1. That is a total of 15-2, 88%. Turn 1 pass, turn 2 Surge over Firehair, and again, consider Ravonna. Turn 3 Cass or Luna. Turn 4 Wong, or you can play Panther or White Tiger early if possible. This is when you're snapping as you realize they can't stop you. And remember that while Thanos does feel like it's every other game, it is currently 25% of the metagame, as near as we can tell, which means 3 out of every 4 games, you should not be facing anything that counters you in particular, right? You have Elixir, which will work for the Negasonic that's in the meta. Juggernaut can be annoying, but you should be able to get Prio against those decks, and there's just no Magneto to be found. Panther or Tiger is your turn 5, or you can play Zola or Odin on them if you have those ready. And then turn 6, Zola or Odin, or if you Zola, you can now play Sage Elixir or Wong and Elixir. This list is really good, right? Do you need to buy Elixir for it? Absolutely not. But does Elixir add something to it? Absolutely. I think he's actually pretty good here. Great? No. Necessary? No. But he does add a way fundamentally to win a third lane in a compelling manner in this list, which is more than you can say for a lot of cards. Most games he's going to sit in your hand kind of unused, and you're like, why am I doing this? But there's a certain number of games where he wins for you in ways that no other card could. Before we get to our full Elixir breakdown and the next deck we're going to talk about, which, as much as I had success with that first deck, the second deck, even though like the first deck was the thumbnail deck, is my favorite because the wins were so wild for it. Please hit that sub button if you are willing to before we get to that deck. We give you more Marvel Snap content than anyone. This is in fact the second time I'm recording this exact video. For whatever reason, my OBS decided that audio should be optional the first time I recorded. It's the middle of the night as I record this. We are trying to hit 25,000 subs. We're just about at 21,000. If you could help us get there, it would mean the world. We give you 7 days a week Marvel Snap video, and we never miss a day. So if you want the most consistent, best Marvel Snap content with exclusive decks, keep it here. In addition, we're giving away an Ask Me Cuckoo. All you have to do is sub, like, and comment. I'm not going to give you the whole spiel because, once more, it is quite late at night. But please do, if you are willing, sub, like, and then later this video, I'll ask you to leave a comment. That answering that comment enters you to an Ask Me Cuckoo. You can win one this week, next week, and then the week after that, we'll be giving away the new season pass. All right, so Elixir is a 2/3. On reveal, one of your cards destroyed last turn gets revived here. I've heard him compared to Bruce Banner. I've heard him compared to original Dokken. I've heard him compared to every terrible card in the game. I don't think he's that bad. I don't think you should get him. I want to be clear. I think he's still probably a card that is extremely boutique, extremely niche, at least unless Kid Omega comes to Marvel Snap. But I don't think he's actually bad. I think in particular, I had a lot of trouble using him in the standard Misery shells. Almost everyone was playing him in Misery shells like he was a Phoenix Force card. In those shells, he's actually really, really good with Cassandra Nova, but those lists are just sort of a little underpowered and they're a little clunky. And he felt okay, but you had so much specific draw stuff that had to happen that I didn't think it was really worth it. If you have decks where you either have 7 turns or you can Zola on turn 5, right? All of a sudden, Elixir has use. because you're only destroying one card on that turn, and then the next turn, Elixir is a cheap way to get back the thing that Zola made 2 copies of. That gives you 3 copies of a powerful card, and when you have copies of a powerful card, you are often able to win games of Marvel Snap. That's his real use. That's what makes him a good card when he's good. Is that worth getting? No, probably not. If that ever becomes meta enough, there's ways to counter it and stop it, and then it's not like good at all, right? But it does have a home, it does have a use. This is a decent card that everyone's going to tell you for the next bit is terrible. And this is my favorite deck with that decent card. That first deck I think is better. This deck is wildly cool and wildly powerful. I'm going to end up making everyone play this because I had an absolute blast with this. This is an Affliction Elixir deck, and it's doing the exact same thing with Zola we would expect it to, except it's also got a Wong frickin' Symbiote Spider-Man combo in there. The creator of this list is the Mad Genius Splat. It is twitch.tv/Splaticus. Do check him out. He's also the person responsible for my theme song. If you ever watched one of my streams at the very beginning, I have a theme song. That's Splat. This deck needs Grandmaster, Luffy, Ajax, Diamondback, and Symbiote Spider-Man. That's right, we got a deck that actually needs Symbiote Spider-Man. Elixir can be Scorpion or Surge. I'd aim for Surge, but Elixir's actually really great here. And Red Guardian can be Cassandra or Rogue. This is the only list I played. I played this card for 3 hours and had a 65% win rate. This is the only list where Elixir felt actually important. Now, let's go over why. This deck really wants to magic. It wants to magic on either turn 3 or turn 5. So you're going to try to get out magic on turn 3 against most things that aren't Thanos, and on turn 5 against Thanos. In between, you're going to play Wong or Symbiote Spider-Man. All good? Good. The reason you need that extra turn is because you badly want to Zola on turn 6, right? You don't have any real ramp. We can't afford Surge here, so we're not running any way to get extra stuff. So Zola is very important on turn 6. Sometimes that's it and you win the game. But if you have that on turn 7, now all of a sudden you can Elixir. Well, what are we zoling? We have 3 real options here. We can hit Luffy, and we can Luffy 2 or 3 times with Wong and Symbiote Spider-Man, which is insanely strong, right? If we get that and we Zol it, we've got like 30 power Luffys in multiple lanes, which usually wins the game. And then if you have an extra turn, you can add a freaking extra Luffy. You can add one more Luffy to the location that you Zolid by playing Elixir. That's right. You end up with 3 lanes that are like 40 power from that combo. You can also just get 3 lanes full of Ajax, right? 3 lanes full of Ajax is really good. You could also, like, if you do that, you go Ajax into Zola, into Hazmat, Elixir, or Grandmaster, some combination thereof. All of a sudden, you've now got an extra Ajax, and you're just going through the roof in terms of power, right? The final thing, and I really, I didn't get to do this against Thanos, but I'm dying to do this against Thanos. Thanos fills every spot, right? Especially the ongoing Thanos. So ongoing Thanos fills every spot. There are 12 spots on the opponent boards. That makes Hazmat a 214. Well, if I play that on Wong or with Grandmaster, I'm now playing 26 power. No, 26 power. If I trigger it multiple times, etc. I'm getting all that from Hazmat, and I can not make it affect me because of Luke Cage. I think that's going to absolutely rock most Thanos matches. I haven't had a chance to do it yet because I kept getting the Luffy and HX things going, and that was just so much power. I'm just dropping 20, 30 power giant monsters all over the board. But Hazmat is incredibly useful in that way as well. All right, so that's Hazmat. You generally want to play Hazmat late. You don't have to get more than one Hazmat most of the time. Luffy can hit all 3 lanes, which makes Hazmat redundant. Where if you get Luffy in one lane, you Grandmaster it to another, and then you Zola it, you've now hit all 3 lanes, right? And now, like, your Ajax is already huge, and you don't actually have to stress playing Hazmat. So Hazmat is a late play, but not an especially important one. You can, however, keep in mind, especially for board filling decks, Wong, Symbiote, and Grandmaster with Hazmat are all powerful things to do. Elixir, we've talked about, is a turn 7 play almost exclusively, unless your opponent does something to destroy. Again, he can still counter an early Negasonic or Shang very well. But what he also does is, after Zola, you get that card back, right? And now you have, again, the 3 lanes of giant stuff. Grandmaster is really solid here. It is largely to make sure you have a card alone in a lane in order to play that Zola. So if you leave a symbiote standing there, you play Lofty in another location. For whatever reason, you have the extra energy, or it's turn 7 and you have the extra stuff. You can Grandmaster that Lofty over. You can Grandmaster a Hazmat over, as the case may be, and then you can trigger that symbiote Spider-Man, giving yourself a huge lane out of nowhere. It's really, really powerful stuff and worth doing. If you're worried about a Reality Stone as well, don't be afraid to Grandmaster Magic. It's not something I was doing regularly, but Grandmaster Magic is an option up your sleeve. It is a trick you have. If you have 2 cards to Red Guardian, same concept here. Magic, you need that turn 7, we've talked about. Luke is here largely for the hazmat thing. I wasn't playing Luke often at all. I was mostly just letting everything be a million negative. But if you've triggered like 7 Lofties at the end of the game, you play like, you've got like 2 Lofties, right? And you know they don't have Shung. You just drop Luke, and now all of a sudden your cards shoot back up, but Lofty has kept all that power. It's really great. It's also great for all the hazmat combos. You need the 7th turn. We've talked about it. Diamondback plays as a 3/11. You're perfectly happy to have a 3/11. We run Sage in a million things to be about a 3/11, right? Somewhere between a 3/8 and a 3/12 most of the time. So Diamondback being a 3/11 is great, and she's basically almost always a 3/11. She's another card. I'll drop her early if I have nothing else to do, but that I'm trying to save for late to really, really wreck an opponent. Opponents will really struggle to win a lane where you have, if you played Luke, and all of a sudden, she's not just giving, all your opponent's cards have -3. She is insane. All right. And all your cards are like regular from Luke, right? So then we have Red Guardian, who's just an answer card, a really, really solid answer card. My favorite thing to hit is Luna Snow, because we love having the snow. And then we prevent our opponent who's trying to benefit from it as well. Really great. Wong and Symbiote Spider-Man do the same thing here. They're here largely for Luffy, because we can then Luffy Zola. Um, but the other thing that they're really here for is to hit Hazmat. They work very, very well with that card as well. I was using Symbiote more than Wong, because Symbiote's weakness is like, oh no, they've got Magneto, oh no, they've got Red Guardian. People aren't holding it for that, right? So like if I'm able to get that off, and then I'm perfectly happy to do so. It also can help keep Luffy at like 9 power, and then Spider-Man at 4/7, which can prevent a Shang in certain situations. Ajax is keyword big. Oh, sorry, did we skip Luffy? Luffy is the card I used most. If you go watch the VOD, you'll see me getting like 30, 40 power Luffys all over the place. I played specifically a Luffy directly into a frickin' into a Negasonic, extremely sad on whatever location it was, and then I just brought it back the next turn with Elixir. But Luffy is simply huge. He is simply huge. He's one of the best cards in the deck, and just I love him here. Ajax is obviously your other big card. Luffy actually does more in this deck because we're scaling up for each on reveal. But hey, if we've played Hazmat, getting 220 plus power Ajaxes is fairly likely to win a lot of games too. And then Zola lets you spread all your stupidly big power all over the place. So I went 5-0 plus 18 cubes. And again, please watch the VOD. The games were absolutely insane. Tucker went 2-0 plus 10 cubes. He won a 2-cuber where the opponent retreated, and then he won an 8-cuber, and then he had to go coach somebody. And Splat went 13-9 with plus 16 cubes. So turn 1 and 2, you're passing. Turn 3, any 3 is fine based on the situation. If you're pretty sure they don't have Red Guardian, or there's a location that has a squirrel or raptors in it, drop Luke. If you don't think they have any location control, Magic, just get it out. And if there's a location that like you think they're going to play cards in, or they've already started playing cards in, drop Diamondback. Turn 4 is usually Symbiote over Wong over Luffy. If you don't have Symbiote or Wong, feel free to just drop a Luffy. Doubling Luffy with Zola is still fine. You can also end up Luffying and Grandmastering and using that to make you have a big Ajax. Remember, you can just go like regular. I want a lane with Luffy and Diamondback, and then Ajax wins another lane. You don't have to do the cool combo stuff here. Turn 5, Luffy over Ajax, which is more or less equal to getting out Magic. Against Thanos, this is where I will Magic, and I'll just take a turn off from doing things. I'll play like a Magic, and then I'll like Grandmaster something else, something along those lines. And then turn 6, Zola on Luffy, or Ajax, or Luffy and Hazmat, and then triggers Symbiote. You then either Zola, if you didn't Zola on 6 on turn 7, or drop the cheap stuff on turn 7. And then you win, because this list is insanely strong, insanely consistent. I think this is genuinely a thing of beauty. I'm going to be playing this a lot. So again, check out the VOD of it. But if you want to see me play it, again, I'll be streaming at about 3:15 today at twitch.tv/PhilSglazer. I'll also be right here on YouTube. But I'm trying to grow the Twitch thing. So if you're willing to show some support, it would mean a lot. Our simple season pass question here is, are you planning on getting Elixir? My advice right now is still he's a skip for 99.9% of people. Unless you are like the biggest Arnim Zola lover around, this is a card that is probably very boutique. It is very niche. It's a card that you don't especially need, but it is a card that I think has more uses than people are giving it credit for. It opens up new and creative decks, and it opens up cool stuff for players like Splat. We've got two more really good decks for this card. One from Husky Puppies 35, the Great Husky Puppies, and one more from Jet, who's not getting the card but knows exactly how we would play him because of course he does. It's Jet. So if you want to take a look at those, we'll have those in tomorrow's video. But for the time being, what you really need to know is Elixir's probably a skip for most people, but if you get him, you can find uses. He's not bad. He's just niche. Shang Enjoyers got Vicky's Moon. This is the deck. This and the Revis Agamotto deck from last week are the two decks I've been playing the most right now. I'm chilling around rank 400. And I love this list. This is a Victoria hand list that ends up putting like 60 power on the board. This is built off a Jeff Hoagland shell, and it was, I believe, his idea to go Moon Girl into Victoria hand, but how powerful that makes Collector is just wild. So you can find Shang Enjoyer at twitter.com/Shang Enjoyer. You need Moonstone, Frigga, and Victoria Hand, not Maria Hill here. Makari can be Wasp, Hydra Bob can be Ant-Man, and Kate can be Iron Patriot. Let's go through how this works and what the theory of the list is. So Maria Hill generates cards, right? Mirage generates cards, Kate Bishop generates cards, Frigga copies a card. You can play games of Marvel Snap where your goal is to get Victoria Hand, Moonstone, and then just play a bunch of generated cards that get buffed. That is perfectly fine. All of those cards that you're generating will also buff Collector, leaving you with, generally speaking, about a 2/7. All that's great, right? You're perfectly happy to play a 2/7. You have Shadow King to steal cubes. Everything goes well. Quinjet makes those generated cards cheaper, and everyone's happy. Now, Makari and Moon Girl, however, add an extra layer here. Makari helps manage your hand. Moon Girl is trying to A, grow Collector until he's stupidly huge, or B, give you 2 to 3 Victoria hands. So a thing that will happen reasonably often is I will go Victoria Hand Frigga, or like Quinjet Victoria Hand Frigga, into Moon Girl. And now I've got like an extra 2 Victoria hands on top of that first Victoria hand, or I can drop a Moonstone on one of those Victoria hands, and now we're really cooking, right? Especially if we had the Quinjet out. Sometimes it's Hydra Bob and you're a little sadder, but especially if you got that out. As now all of a sudden you're adding 6 power to everything. You're adding 6 power to your whole board, which can then be amped up more with Moonstone. And you're dropping like 30, 40 power lanes with this. Shadow King is like, oh, that other deck wants to scale up with me. No, it's not going to. Hydra Bob is decent at a 1/4, but if you copy it, getting extra 1/6s, 1/8s, 1/10s is really, really great. And that's the list. This is beautiful. Collector is absolutely a card that makes so much sense here. And I'm surprised it hasn't been in Victoria hand list sooner, although obviously Moon Girl is how you really scale it up to be like a 12, 13 power card. So turn 1 Quinjet over Maria Hill, turn 2 Collector or Hand. I tend to go Hand first if I don't think there's an Enchantress, and a lot of that's just trust your gut, right? Frigga on Collector or Hand, you'll happily have 2 of either of them, is better than a 2/1. Turn 4 is either Moonstone or Moon Girl. I've found myself fairly often Moon Girling on turn 5 and Moonstoning first, especially if I have Quinjet out. Then turn 5 is the other 4 and 1, or you just generate cards. Then turn 6 is Shadow King and all your generated cards. You drop like 2, 3 Victoria hands, and then you Shadow King whatever they were doing, and your power just goes up, and you win the game. This one, this one is gas. I love this list. I hope you give it a try. I wish I could fit a tech piece outside of Shadow King, but Shadow King is cheap and super powerful. And like when this deck sings, again, you're putting 40 power lanes up out of nowhere, out of absolute nowhere. It's a beautiful list. Give it some game. Hey, this coming Saturday is Marvel Snap's first official ever tournament open to the public. It's May 24th at 12 p.m. Eastern, one day. It's going to go until about 10 p.m. Eastern. So if you're interested in this tournament, well, all right, they've already sent out all the invites. But if you're interested in watching this tournament, you can watch on the official Marvel Snap Twitch, twitch.tv/Marvel Snap. Gunny Tian Models, our Snap Justice League friends, are running it, and it's cast by Super Tech God, Guest, and KM Best. So if you want to watch that, great. If you want to watch me participate, I'll be right here on YouTube and on Twitch streaming the tournament live. So if that sounds good to you, come hang out. So I'm going to stream the tournament between games. We'll hang out. We'll do AMAs and stuff like that. And then you can watch me compete in the tournament. I'm going to be completely honest, though. If you're watching me instead of the mainstream, here's how I plan to do it. I am personally not going to sweat and grind for this tournament. The prizes are mostly in-game prizes like tokens and like extra gold and stuff. And I got all that stuff I could possibly need. I'm collection complete. I've got like 200,000 tokens and so on. So I'm going to play something fun and cool, maybe one of the decks from this video. I haven't decided yet, but if you're interested in that, please make sure you check it out and come hang out with me. Also, if you can't make it, don't stress because either on Sunday or Monday, probably Monday given how late Saturday is going to go, I will have a video breaking down the top 8 decks of this tournament. We're going to finish up with Tucker's Surfer Liction. This is an under-tested deck, so this one is more of a homebrew. This one is more of an experimental deck, but I think it's really cool, and I know a lot of my viewers would enjoy it, so here we go. This one is from twitch.tv/Tucker. You can also find him on YouTube at the same name. He is the Pirate King. He is one of the great Marvel Snap content creators in this space. This deck needs both Diamondback and Cassandra Nova. Copycat can be Brood. Red Guardian can be Rogue. US Agent can be Surge, Samber Forge. Luffy and Ajax can be Galactic Man-Thing. Luna can be Fastos. So, Luna is the most important card in this deck. Let's get that out of the way right at the start. Luna cannot be more important for this list. Luna allows you to do two things. It allows you to go Hazmat and Ajax on the last turn. I guess it allows you to do three things. It allows you to go to Hazmat, Ajax on the last turn. It allows you to go Luffy Surfer on the last turn. And it allows you to go 3-3 on turn 6 and make sure you have enough threes that Surfer is actually worth it. Luna is insanely important here. Just, I don't know if I can be clear. You might want to run Hope over like Copycat for that to have like a backup, but Luna's so much better that it's ridiculous. Because being able to go Luna into Ajax and then still have the rest of the game to do your stuff is wild. Hazmat triggers your Ajax and makes your Diamondback a 3/11. Those two things are good. You don't have to play Hazmat, however, because a lot of the times your turn 2/3 is going to be Scorpion into Cassandra Nova, which means that every card in their deck that they haven't played, they could have played a card on 1 or 2, right? But any card they played from on turn 3, unless there's one card they drew basically after that that wasn't afflicted, the card they drew exactly on turn 3. And yeah, from there you should be able to have enough power to get your Ajax and Diamondback value. US Agent is like you can't run Shungs and you want an extra 2, so you run US Agent as an extra way to bring stuff down. Cassandra Nova, we just talked about her power, also very good against Thanos, that remains a truism. Luke Cage says, oh no, all your stuff gets punished, mine does not. He also happens to be a 3, which means he works for Surfer, who buffs the like 5-6 cards in the list. Diamondback is a 3/11 who plays for a 3/13 if you've got Surfer, and even more if you've got Luke 2. You can use Diamondback with Scorpion, Cassandra Nova, Hazmat, or Luffy. Any of those work. Even Red Guardian works. Red Guardian is your answer card, ideally hitting opposing Lukes, but hitting anything else, also naturally a 3. Copycat in a good stuff meta is incredibly strong. I'm considering Hope in that spot, but Copycat is very good. Luna is very important. We talked about why already. Luffy, either on turn 4 or turn 6, is just a ton of power. Feel free to just, casually play like a 3/12 that no one expects. And same thing basically for Ajax, except he's more like a 20. So you enjoy your extra energy and power from these cards. So turn 1 pass, turn 2 Scorp over US Agent, turn 3 Luna over Cass. Luke is more or less equal to Diamondback. Turn 4, you'll still play Luna over Luffy. Turn 5 is 2 threes if you can, if not, drop Ajax. Then we've got Hazmat and Ajax on turn 6, or Hazmat and Surfer, or we can go an extra 3 or Luffy and Surfer. Tons of power. I think Affliction's in a really good place. Affliction was everywhere for the first week of the season, and it has seemingly receded, so take advantage of it and win some games, friends. That's it for today. Certain tiers of support on our Patreon come with honor. Thanks. If you're interested in checking it out, it would mean an awful lot to us. Check out patreon.com/snapjudgments. Bricks to Click is our patron of the month. I'm going to go through this super quickly because it is absurdly late. I'm going to be a zombie tomorrow. Thank you to Abigail Giesel, Meditor Burnout, Irregardless, LAB, Inc., I'm Frostman, Hota, Navidate, Thinking Poker, Prime, Ryan Burke, Ryan Wood, Ren Wrench, Caretix Lee, Corey, Kazushi, Archangel 3K, Black Dahlia, Perfos, The Goat Seeker, Code, Hallowed, Only Fox, Synth, Frederick, Absolute Shannon, Nightmare, Dirty Casual, Mr. Kerfuffle, Cables, Ginger Prime, Philip Rackridge, Haplo, Candy of the Dangers of the Biz, Black Sheeps 23, Exorcist D, and Skippy G, Jessica Gamble, good choice, Jess. I saw that earlier today. Mr. Slush Death, The King of Bros, The Great Kazoo, Werewolf, Kevsey Hoodle, Ludicrous, Glam, Colonel Forbin, Rob Silverman, M. Holland, David G. Wingfield, Stephen, Brian Coffin, Tristan H. Martin, Jason B., Mr. Craig Sterry, Matt V., Corey, Corbin, John Q, Jim McHugh, Yist 8H, One Big Man, Milkman for Reals, Cactus Stacker, Reapster, BG, Good Pro Joe, Snap Decisions Joe, Dick Cart Low, Models Monster Premium, Pickety Boom Bot, Green Goblin, Unibot, Flam 56D, Fuzz Not Spectrumix, Hoot, Ocularis, Matt H, DJ Mike Hashings, No Flex, Nick the Greek Geek, Toxic Soul King, Cedric, the King of Canada, Demi Falcon, Falthor Newman, Jonesy, 2 Times 3, Lord is the Pirate King Tucker, and of course, Gunny T, where the T stands for, woo, I got to go to sleep. It's ridiculously late. And I love these decks, and I hope you enjoyed the video because I definitely stayed up real late to make sure this one came out. Peace.